The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Union fell silent as the final vote was counted. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood alone at the center of the massive hall, surrounded by thousands of alien delegates from every corner of the known galaxy. Their eyes, some glowing, some compound, some floating in liquid tanks, all stared at her with contempt. "The vote is unanimous," announced High Chancellor Zorvax, his tall gray form towering above the podium. His voice echoed through the chamber like thunder. "Humanity is hereby expelled from the Galactic Union. You have 30 standard cycles to remove all human presence from Union space." Elena did not flinch. She had known this moment was coming for months. The other species had grown tired of humanity. They called humans aggressive, unpredictable, and dangerous. They said humans bred too fast, consumed too many resources, and asked too many questions about technologies they had no right to understand. "May I speak?" Elena asked calmly. "You may not," Zorvax replied with a dismissive wave of his four-fingered hand. "The decision is made. Your primitive species will return to your single star system. You will be quarantined. No Union vessel will trade with you. No Union world will accept your ships. You are alone now." The chamber erupted in clicking sounds, which Elena knew was the alien equivalent of applause. The Velthrani delegation slithered in celebration. The crystalline Mordax sang harmonies of victory. Even the usually peaceful Althorians bobbed their heads in approval. Elena turned and walked out of the chamber with her head held high. Behind her, she heard laughter and mocking sounds. Some delegates threw comments at her back. "Go back to your dirt world, human. Perhaps now you will learn your place in the universe. Savages do not belong among civilized beings." She did not respond. She simply walked through the golden doors and never looked back. The journey home took 3 weeks. Elena spent most of it in her cabin, writing reports and preparing humanity for what was coming. When her ship finally entered Earth's solar system, she found the entire human fleet waiting for her. Thousands of vessels hung in the darkness of space, their lights blinking like stars. President Marcus Chen was waiting when she docked at Luna Station. His face was grim but determined. "They really did it," he said. "They did," Elena confirmed. "We have 30 days to pull everyone out of Union space." Marcus nodded slowly. "Then we better get to work." The next 5 years were the hardest in human history. Cut off from galactic trade, humanity faced shortages of critical materials. The Union had supplied rare elements that powered advanced technology. Without them, many systems began to fail. Medical equipment stopped working. Power plants struggled. Ships could not be maintained. But humanity did not give up. They never gave up. Scientists worked around the clock to find alternatives. Engineers built new machines from old parts. Farmers developed new crops that could grow in harsh conditions. Doctors created medicines from local resources. Every human on every colony worked together with one purpose: survival. Within 2 years, humanity had stabilized. Within 3 years, they were growing again. Within 5 years, they had developed technologies that no longer required Union materials at all. It started in the asteroid belt. A young physicist named Dr. Sarah Kim discovered something that changed everything. She found a way to generate unlimited clean energy from quantum vacuum fluctuations. The discovery was so revolutionary that it took the scientific community months to believe it was real. But it was real, and it was just the beginning. Free from the limitations of Union technology, human scientists began exploring ideas that the Union had declared impossible. They created engines that could cross galaxies in days instead of months. They developed materials stronger than anything known to exist. They built weapons so powerful that entire star systems could be defended by a single ship. But most importantly, they discovered something the Union had kept hidden for thousands of years. Deep in the archives of captured Union data, intelligence officers found references to an ancient threat. A species called the Devourers had once nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. The Union had defeated them 10,000 years ago, or so the records claimed. But the truth was different. The Union had not defeated the Devourers. They had only driven them back. And now, after 10,000 years of rebuilding, the Devourers were returning. The Union knew this. They had known it for centuries. But instead of preparing for the coming war, they had focused on politics and trade. They had expelled humanity, not because humans were dangerous, but because humans asked too many questions. Humans had started discovering the truth, and the Union leaders were afraid. The first Devourer ships appeared at the edge of Union space exactly 8 years after humanity was expelled. They came in numbers beyond counting, their dark vessels blocking out entire star clusters. The Union scrambled to respond, but their military had grown weak after millennia of peace. The Volfrani home world fell in 3 days. 50 billion lives were erased in an instant. The Mordax tried to negotiate, sending their most eloquent diplomats to speak with the Devourers. Those diplomats were consumed alive, their crystalline bodies shattered and absorbed into the enemy swarm. Planet after planet fell. Species after species was destroyed. The mighty Galactic Union, which had ruled for 100,000 years, was crumbling like sand before a tsunami. High Chancellor Zorvax sent a message to Earth. "Humans," his voice trembled through the communication channel. "We were wrong. We beg you. Please help us." President Chun watched the message with his cabinet. The room was silent for a long time. "They threw us out like garbage," Defense Minister Rodriguez said bitterly. "They laughed at us. They called us savages." "They did," Chun agreed. "They absolutely did." "So, what do we do?" asked Elena, who had been promoted to Secretary of External Affairs. Chun stood and walked to the window. Outside, the earth turned slowly, blue and green and beautiful. Beyond it, humanity's fleet stood ready. Ships that could travel faster than anything the Union had ever built. Weapons that could crack planets. Shields that could stop starfire. "We are not them," Chun said quietly. "We do not abandon others to die, even those who wronged us. That is what makes us human." The first human fleet arrived at the Battle of Alderus Prime, just as the Devourer swarm was closing in. The Althorians had already accepted their fate. Their cities were burning. Their ships were destroyed. Their people were praying to their gods for a quick death. Then the sky split open with light. Human warships poured through quantum gates, their hulls gleaming silver and gold. They hit the Devourer fleet like a hammer striking glass. Weapons that the Union had never seen tore through the enemy vessels. Fighters moved so fast they seemed to teleport. Shields deflected attacks that should have destroyed moons. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Devourer swarm was destroyed completely. Not a single enemy ship survived. The Althorians emerged from their shelters to find human soldiers standing guard over their cities. Medical teams were already treating the wounded. Engineers were working to restore power. Food and supplies were being distributed to the survivors. An old Althorian approached a human commander. Tears streamed down his gray face. "Why?" he asked. "Why would you save us after what we did to you?" The commander, a woman with kind eyes and a scar across her cheek, smiled gently. "Because someone had to," she said. "And we could." Word spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Humanity was fighting the Devourers. Humanity was winning. World after world sent desperate calls for help, and humanity answered every single one. The war lasted 3 years. 3 years of constant battle across thousands of star systems. Human soldiers fought and died beside the aliens who had once mocked them. Human doctors healed the species that had called them primitive. Human engineers rebuilt the worlds that had wanted nothing to do with them. And slowly the tide turned. The final battle took place at the Devourer home system, a dark cluster of dying stars that had been hidden for 10,000 years. The combined fleets of humanity and the surviving Union species gathered for one last assault. This time, The aliens followed human command. They had learned, painfully and thoroughly, that humanity knew how to win wars. When the last Devourer ship exploded, cheers erupted across 1,000,000 worlds. Species that had never worked together celebrated as one. The greatest threat the galaxy had ever known was finally destroyed. The Reconstruction Conference was held on Earth, in the ruins of the old United Nations building that humanity had rebuilt as a monument to their past. Delegates from every surviving species attended. High Chancellor Zorvax, aged and humbled, approached the podium. "We come before humanity today to offer our deepest apologies," he said, his voice cracking with emotion. "We were fools. We were arrogant. We looked at you and saw only what we feared, not what you truly were. You showed us mercy when we deserved none. You saved our children when we had abandoned yours. You are not savages. You never were. You are the greatest species this galaxy has ever known." He knelt before President Chun, something no High Chancellor had done in the entire history of the Union. "Please," Zorvax begged, "return to the Union. Lead us. Guide us. We will follow wherever you choose to take us." The chamber fell silent. Every eye was on Chun. The President of Earth stepped forward and helped Zorvax to his feet. "We will not rejoin the Union," Chun said. Gasps echoed through the hall. Zorvax's face fell with despair. "But," Chun continued, "we will do something better. The old Union was built on fear and exclusion. It kept secrets and told lies. It abandoned the weak and punished the curious. That Union deserved to fall." He turned to address all the delegates. "Today, we build something new, a federation of equals. No species above another, no secrets kept in shadows. No one left behind. Humanity will stand beside you, not above you. We will face the future together, whatever it brings." The chamber erupted in the loudest applause ever recorded on any world. Delegates wept openly. Species that had been enemies for millennia embraced like old friends. Elena stood in the back of the hall, watching history unfold. A Velthrani delegate slithered up beside her. "I mocked you once," the alien said quietly. "When you walked out of the chamber 8 years ago, I threw insults at your back." Elena nodded. "I remember. I'm sorry," the Velthrani said. "I am so very sorry." Elena placed her hand on the alien's scaled shoulder. "We all make mistakes," she said. "What matters is what we do after. Welcome to the new beginning." Outside the building, the sun was setting over the restored skyline of New Geneva. Children of a dozen species played together in the gardens, their laughter mixing in the evening air. Ships from across the galaxy filled the sky, bringing hope instead of war. Humanity had been kicked out of the Union. They had been called savages and primitives. They had been abandoned and laughed at and left to die. But humanity had never stopped being human. They had fought when others gave up. They had helped when others hid. They had forgiven when others expected revenge. And now the galaxy would never forget what humanity truly was. Not conquerors, not savages, not primitives. Simply, beautifully, stubbornly human.